Thank you, Mr. Bodia. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the California Acupuncture Board Licensing Committee meeting. My name is Dr. Amy Mateki. I'm the chair of the Licensing Committee. Today is Thursday, December 9th, 2021. We present for the Licensing Committee meeting, the first day of the two-day Acupuncture Board meeting. This meeting is being held by WebEx. This is an official business meeting of the Acupuncture Board. And this meeting will be recorded. The time is now 9:33 a.m. So David, would you please take a roll call to establish a quorum?
Of course. As I call your name, please let us know that you are here. Dr. Mateki.
Present.
Francisco Kim.
I'm here.
Great. I show that both committee members are present and that we have a quorum.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
So we will move to the agenda item number 2. I don't really have remarks. I just want to say the committee welcome the public comments on any item in the discussion. It is the committee's intent to ask for public comments prior to the committee to take any actions. We will present to the full board for further discussion to take further actions. Individual listening to the meeting will have the opportunity to provide public comment and will be assisted by the moderator. So let's see. We will move to the agenda item number 3, public comment on items not on the agenda, please. And I would like to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
This is the moderator of the meeting. My name is also David. We will be taking public comment. In the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you should see a Q&A option. Please type comment into the comment box and send it to all panelists. You'll be given 3 minutes, and I believe we decided on a 30-second warning. We have a hand raised for comment. Just a moment. I will be calling on Alex. Alex, I have sent you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hello?
Hi, Alex. Go ahead, please.
Hi, it's actually, it's Dr. Charlene Osler. I'm not sure where the Alex came when I opened my iPad here, but I'm a registered nurse and have a doctorate in public health and have spent most of my career teaching community health and became interested in Eastern medicine and integration with Western medicine back in the 70s and 80s on the East Coast and then the Midwest. And because of my interest in that and the fact that I incorporated it into nursing education, I'm often looked to as a source for people who are looking for guidance about traditional Chinese medicine and other quote unquote alternative therapies. And now that I'm in California, I've increasingly been approached about not only acupuncture, but also Qigong, Tai Chi, and herbal medicine. And of course, I'm not an expert in any of those. So in terms of looking at how I can advise the public or my colleagues on how to approach integrating these things or making referrals from their Western practices, I look to the Acupuncture Board and to my TCM colleagues. And so my comment today is really just to encourage the board to consider how they can be more proactive in both ensuring there is safety in those practices. I think the California Acupuncture Board has done a great job with acupuncture. I don't see their presence as prevalent with herbs or with Qigong and what I would consider to be the less invasive aspects of practice, although I see that both of those things, the exercise of Qigong or Tai Chi and the herbs, are part of the scope of practice. So I'm really just asking today for the board to consider expanding or extending their guidance to the public in trying to ensure that people are getting quality teachers and practitioners of some of these, I'll
30
consider,
seconds.
thank you, the ancillary or the complementary parts of the practice that are in addition to acupuncture. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no additional requests for comment, would you like me to close the feature?
Yes, please.
Oh, hold on just a moment. We have another request for comment. Shall we continue with comments?
Yes, please.
Okay. Next we have Jim. Bear with me just a moment, and I will be sending you a request to unmute your microphone. Okay, I have sent a request to unmute your microphone, Jim. I am going to send you another request to unmute your microphone. Jim, I'm going to send you a third request to unmute your microphone. If we're still having difficulties after that, we're going to go to the next comment and we'll swing back to you. Okay, Jim, we're going to go to the next comment and we'll come back to you. If you would like to try and type your comment into the Q&A box or reconnect, we will give you that opportunity. Next on the list, we have Lon. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. Lan, go ahead, please. I see
Can
you
you
have
hear me?
unmuted. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Very good. Good morning, board members. My name is Lon Cow, and I'm a co-investigator on a current clinical trial using herbal medicine for the treatment of COVID. And then it's a FDA-approved clinical trial. And I'd just like to share with the board that the importance of doing herbal research in the field of Eastern medicine to not only attain credibility, but also to provide a really important service that our profession can support during this time. And also to share with the previous public speaker about the importance of Qigong as well. And I also work with Qigong with service members. And I agree with her. We need to have some sort of standard and a reference for folks in the public to refer to in order to make sure that they have safety and appropriate exposure to this method under Eastern medicine. And so this may require definitely in terms of the herbal research, I mean, additional education and advanced education and herbal understanding to participate in the scientific research because it's needed. A physician or a scientist doing herbal medicine research without herbal medicine knowledge is important. And I believe I'm one of the few, if not the first, herbal medicine medical monitor on a clinical trial. So that's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to circle back to Jim. And Jim, it appears you have unmuted your microphone.
Very good. Thank you. Success. So I apologize for the technical inconvenience. I'm not familiar with this. The last time I was able to participate, it was on a actual Zoom call. So thank you in advance for this opportunity that the California State Acupuncture Board is actually listening to the public on some very important issues, I believe, that will better serve the community and the end users. So my personal experience is with herbal medicine. I actually traveled to China, my first experience in 2004. And I was introduced to acupuncture and herbal medicine, herbal formulas there. And since then, I've been back and forth to that country many times, and I have had nothing but excellent results from both acupuncture and herbs. So I think that California, I believe, is at one of the forefront states, if not the preeminent state for traditional Chinese medicine, which is acupuncture and herbs and Qigong and some of the other things that help keep your body fit. And I think it's imperative that the California Acupuncture Board listen to the constituents. So my experience is that during the COVID, I'm at that target age. I will say that I'm 70, in pretty good health, and I was not so reticent to jump onto the shots. So I tried the herbal medicine from my practitioner, who was also a chiropractor, who is also an acupuncturist and gives me formulas. So I can't really say for certain, but I never experienced any ill effects from any of the COVID, and I've been in perfect health. So I believe that the board, the California State Board, needs to be able to
30 seconds.
Thank you. Be able to monitor the use and make sure that everything is being done in the highest accordance of the state level. So thank you for your opportunity for me to share.
Okay, moving on, we have Willow next. Bear with us just a moment, and I will send you a request to unmute your microphone. Willow, I have sent you a request to unmute your microphone. And you appear unmuted. And we just heard you.
For giving this opportunity for the public. And as a scientist and a clinical practitioner with 36 years experience on Chinese medicine, so I think it is necessary to do something with the help or organized by the board of acupuncture. Chinese herb, as we know, are regulated as dietary supplement. So there's a risk for its safety to the public. As we know, foods has killed someone, a few years ago, or maybe not directly, but, there's a report. The death is related to that herbs. So I would say herbal medicine is very complicated. I would suggest the board to, organize a few experts of Chinese herbs to write a guidance of herbal application to the public. And also for the education, because I taught in the acupuncture school, several years ago, so that I know, what's going on. So for the education, I would suggest to add the, of course, pharmacological of Chinese herbs, which is talking about the modern study of its modern pharmacological activity, because it's very important. Many patients are taking modern drugs. So then if they take herbs, there's, interact. So the practitioner should know the potential interact between them. So, and also when I was in the university, college teaching the Chinese herb there, so I know how the supervisor in the school supervise the, student. And I just felt that's not, qualified, at least for some of the supervisor there. So I think some of the supervisor, they themselves may not have enough experience. And the third suggestion is like to, maybe this related to
30
consumer
seconds.
development. Yeah, so to monitor and management the herbal supplement. So then we set up a testing lab 2 years ago, and we found that, in the Sanchi and the American ginseng, the powder, which sold very popular, we detected the Eastern mold quite often. So I would say all of these few samples we tested are all contaminated with Eastern mold, which beyond
Your time
the
is
limit.
up.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I really wish or suggest that to set up.
Your time is up.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to mute you now. Moving on, we have Adrianus. Bear with us just a moment, and we will send you a request to unmute your microphone. We have sent you a request to unmute your microphone, and you appear unmuted. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. This is Adrianus Wong from Alhambra Medical University. I'm the current Chief Academic Officer of the Alhambra Medical University. Thank you for California Acupuncture Board in providing these discussions, the agenda talking about this herbal curriculum regarding with the instructions and curriculum subjects and how to determine the qualification and procedure for these safe prescriptions as a standard and competencies for these professions. I like to provide one of my opinion from the education's leadership standpoints in providing the curriculum and in providing the competency. I think we can also align with the Bloom's taxonomy standards that in providing the competency, there's a step of journey from the standpoint of the students or the learners from the first point, how do they acquire their knowledge and use that knowledge in a conceptual standpoints, which is mostly can be taught in the didactic course. But as a healthcare professional, when they actually have to practice their medicines and practicing, especially in this part of herbal prescriptions, then it actually has to go into the skills and on the highest level, on the metacognitive, which means that it's mostly will be offered a lot in the clinical training. And during the clinical training, I think it's also very important that we have to also provide some competency related with the herbal medicines that also focusing on the evidence-based medicines and evidence-based informed practice, as well as with the clinical reasonings. How do the interns, how do the supervisors can also supervise and train their students based on the evidence research, and how do they implement their own clinical judgment and, based on the presentation of the patients. And lastly is on the patient-centered care, then how do they build up the treatment and how do they build up the recommendations following the agreement with the patients, with the informed consent of the patients, and finally come up with the decisions together between the practitioners and the patients. So I think that will be my comment.
30 seconds.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no additional requests for, we have another one from Joanna. Bear with us just a moment, and we will send you a request to unmute your microphone. All right, we have sent you a request to unmute your microphone. Joanna, I'm going to send you another request to unmute your microphone. And we have sent you a second request to unmute your microphone, Joanna. Okay, we're going to send you a third request to unmute your microphone. If you're still having difficulty, please type into the comment. Oh,
Hello?
we hear you. We hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
This is Joanna from Fairbanks University. I'm the dean of the school. And since I come to this country, actually I practice started from 1984 and also practice in China. So I do see the herbal is so important, especially when we go to China. Our students sometimes go there to study from the hospital over there. They really said our school students can identify herbs very well. So I think that is important because if our practitioners have their own herbs or they go to the herb store to buy herbs, they have to know what's there. So that's why I said herbal education important. And second one is the Qigong and the Tai Chi. Not only just practice for your own well-being, it's for the patients. So that's why I said that these are very important. Thank you.
All right, and thank you.
Yeah. It's
All right. If you're finished, I'm going to mute your microphone.
yes.
Okay, thank you. And that appears to be all the comments. Would you like me to close the public comments?
Yes, please.
Oh, hold on. We may have gotten one last one. We have another request for comment from Philip Yang. Shall we reopen public comments?
Yes, please.
All right. Philip, you do not appear to have a microphone. Madam Chair, shall we allow Philip to type his comment into the comment box? Or how shall we address no microphone?
Yeah, sure. He can type it in and then maybe we can read. So for the public who is listening can't see it, maybe we can do that.
I will read any comment typed by Philip out loud.
Thank you. So David, are you still there, moderator?
I am still here.
Okay. if it will take a little bit of time, maybe we can just tell the public or us it's coming up. Or
Okay.
you think,
Um,
do we
I can
know that?
remind the public that we will be proceeding in a moment. Philip Yang has written,
Okay.
I support strengthening the education of herbal medicine and formula prescription. I am representing AACMA and California University, Silicon Valley. I also suggest to establish a subcommittee of herbal medicine. All right. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, David.
All right. Shall we close public comment?
Yes, please.
Public comment is now closed and the floor is yours.
Thank you. So we will move on to the agenda item number 4, review current curriculum standards to ensure that they prepare licensees for entry-level practice and consumer safety. I believe this is Mr. Hurd. Would you like to take from here?
Yeah,
We'll
thank you,
discuss-
Amy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. And hello, everyone. And so David Brueggemann did the research and the memo on this one. So I'm going to pass the floor off to him to present. So David, could you please present this item?
Certainly, Jay. Hello, everyone. This is David Brueggemann. I'm a policy analyst with the board. And as Jay indicated, I conducted some research both in terms of the curriculum requirements for herbal medicine and for exercise therapy with respect to both the California Acupuncture Board regulations and the ACAOM, or excuse me, now the ACAHM standards that they have established in these areas as well. So we have set out in these memos simply a summary of what the existing requirements and standards are as an idea to promote discussion amongst the committee members about the goal, the education goal in the board's strategic plan, which is to advance education standards to increase the quality of education and ensure consumer protection. So I'm just going to focus on the herbal medicine memo at this time. Again, it's a summary of regulations from the California Acupuncture Board, as well as the standards that ACAHM has set out in this area. So under our requirements for acupuncture tutorials, there are 300 hours specifically required for traditional Oriental herbology, including botany. And this would be out of a total of 1,548 hours in the section on theoretical and didactic training within the acupuncture tutorial. Compare this to the standards that we have for our educational and training program requirements. There, at least 450 hours would be required in Chinese herbal medicine principles and theory, including relevant botany concepts. And this was a change that's made in 2005 to give some context in terms of how long these standards have been in existence. There are no minimum hours listed for instruction in herbal prescription, counseling, and preparation, but this is part of a larger section in the educational and training program requirements of acupuncture and Oriental medicine principles, theories, and treatment. And in that larger section, there must be a total of at least 1,255 hours. Now, for instruction in pharmacological assessment, emphasizing side effects and herb-drug interactions, again, no specific hours for that portion, but it's part of a larger section in clinical medicine, patient assessment, and diagnosis. And that larger section requires at least 240 hours of instruction. For instruction in treatment, contraindications, and complications, including drug and herb interactions, again, no specific hours for that portion, but it's part of a larger 90 instruction hour requirement in case management. And that's a quick summary of the California Acupuncture Board regulations with respect to both the acupuncture tutorials and the educational and training program curriculum specifically for herbal medicine. For the Accreditation Commission for Acupuncture and Herbal Medicine Standards, they have broken out their requirements slightly differently by degree program. So for a master's level professional program in acupuncture with a Chinese herbal medicine specialization, their standard is that there are 450 clock hours of instruction in didactic acupuncture and oriental medicine related herbal studies. Also required would be 870 clock hours of instruction in integrated acupuncture and herbal clinical training, comprised of at least 150 hours in clinical observation and 700 clock hours of instruction in clinical internship. Now, for a master's level degree for Chinese herbal medicine certificate program, they're requiring 450 clock hours of instruction in didactic AOM-related herbal studies, 210 clock hours of instruction in clinical training, comprised of at least 200 clock hours of instruction in herbal clinical internship training. Certificate programs must include current enrollment in or the satisfactory completion of an ACAHM accredited or pre-accredited entry level, being a master's level or professional doctoral program in acupuncture and acupuncture with a Chinese herbal medicine specialization. Now, ACAOM specifies English language competency. I understand that's a contentious issue, and I'll simply go on to the doctoral level requirements there. For a professional program in acupuncture with a Chinese herbal medicine specialization, they recommend at least 450 clock hours of instruction in didactic AOM-related herbal studies, 1,000 clock hours of instruction in integrated acupuncture and herbal clinical training, comprised of at least 150 hours in clinical observation and 700 clock hours of instruction in clinical internship. And the program must meet or exceed all existing ACAHM standards and criteria required for master level acupuncture programs with a Chinese herbal medicine specialization. Now that's the ACAHM standards for course hours. They also set out specific competencies that they believe students should be able to demonstrate. Those that are specific to herbs include, at the master's level, being able to describe the fundamental theory underlying the use of herbs, natural products, and formulations, to accurately articulate properties and functions of herbs and natural products in the Materia Medica, to recognize obsolete or restricted herbs and natural products, i.e. endangered species, restricted or toxic substances, and identify appropriate alternatives for said substances, to accurately articulate properties, functions, principles, dosages, and ingredients of traditional formulations, to compose and revise formulations of appropriately dosed herbs and natural products based on traditional practice and patient assessment, to safely and effectively administer herbs and natural products, formulations, and prepared products, i.e. dietary supplements, to evaluate the efficacy of appropriately administered herbs, natural products, and formulations through the identification and review of current research, to recall elementary concepts of botany and common chemical constituents of herbs and natural products, to appraise potential toxicity, side effects, contraindications, and pharmaceutical interactions for herbs and natural products, formulas, and prepared products, to describe state and federal regulations relevant to the practice of Oriental medicine, including scope of practice, vendor compliance with manufacturing standards, and appropriate mechanisms for reporting of serious adverse events, to describe the various forms of formulation preparation, to describe dispensary practices that provide quality assurance, including product storage, facility management, preparation practices, product tracking, and record keeping, and to recognize ethical issues and evaluate appropriate actions with administering herbs and natural products. And that was the competencies they list for the master's level. At the doctoral level, they suggest that the student must demonstrate the ability to administer AOM treatment, including Chinese herbal medicine as applicable in core and concentration areas with competence that is qualitatively advanced beyond entry level. And again, that's just a high-level summary of the standards that ACAHM has set out for their programs in acupuncture and traditional or medicine that require an herbal medicine focus. So again, it's a high-level summary of both ACAHM and California Acupuncture Board standards as an idea to prompt discussion of how those standards are and what may need to be changed, if anything. So defer back to you, Chair Mateki, for discussion on the topic.
Yeah, thank you, David. This is, I really see the outline, it's just the detailed work you have put it together. When I, read it, review it, I thought of the competence, how the level of the school education to ensure the graduates, the description you have laid out here. I don't think the public really know how much effort in education has been lined for a Chinese medicine practitioner to know the herbs. Today we already hear the safeties. I just want to congratulate and thank you for doing this detailed work here. It's about a time for us to look at the safety or the future, the guidance. And I think earlier I heard the comments on the COVID time, but even for the last, I would say, decade, the herbs for different type of the disease has been brought out to the attention to the public. But sometimes we heard a lot is not the positive in the spotlight. But if you read or if the public understand the detailed description through the education hours and how much for students have to master or at least to be competent before they get their license. I'm very impressed. I think this is the part public need to know, and also how you let the public know when the students graduate from the school. This is what they have to master and have to be competent in this variety of the description. So, Member Kim, what do you have anything wanted to add and comment? And I know as licensees and herbs is always very dear to our heart. Acupuncture is well known, but the herbs has always been either treated lightly as a food, just go to the store to buy it, and people misuse it, and the next thing the herbs get pulled off the market because improper use the cause the kidney problem, liver problem. So I really think it's about a time we want to open up, to discuss and how we can help, to increase the standard and also the quality of the education. In the meantime, for the consumer protect, because they will sometimes just read the magazines and also, misused. So go ahead, Member Kim.
Thank you. I and also thanks David for your presentation, and I been practicing over 20 years now, and also I looked at the occupational analysis on the section like table 12 that treatment modalities used. When they come in for acupuncture, 100% of the time acupuncture has been used, 80% cupping, and almost 70% herbal medicines been used, and other diet and nutrition's also 65%. So this is the core of practice of acupuncturist currently, and it's been demanding more and more. And I look at the hours of training, and also maybe as I recall, that Qigong education is only one semester for the whole curriculum. So for the acupuncturist, the profession to be able to meet the needs of public, I think they can be more focused in more clinical training, and also the herbal medicine, case management. I was trained, also been practicing raw material of herbs. They call it a crude material, and we weren't sure about the potency or any contamination or any other safety issues. It's been going on because I know a lot of vitamin company and health food industries. They are coming up with a lot of herbal medicine products. So now I've been using a lot of herbs in a already made like OTC format. So I think we can go focus on, as a board, focus on educational standard, in focusing in more of a biochemical, biomedical level of education, rather than just a crude, more like a traditional training. I mean, that is very important and basic, but on top of that, and as I've been serving in regulatory board, I've seen a lot of them getting disciplined because of a regulatory standard, which is exactly same as other healthcare profession. So there's a question that education standard is up to that level, or it's like we teach less and then we regulate same as like those other medical health profession. That raises a question. So my concern is maybe we have to focus more on the safety guideline, and also develop more on the clinical training focused curriculum in herbal preparation, herbal management, herbal case management, and safety issue, and also focus more on to anyone who wants to be more into a Qigong. I think we have to develop a more specialized curriculum for that. Yeah, that's my comment.
Yeah, thank you, Member Kim. So I appreciate your insight as years practitioner and educator, help the schools education. So the part I think early maybe David and Jay, you guys can help also. I know in the education and the training program curriculum, the detail listed here, 450 hours for tutorial, 300 hours, the Chinese herb medicine principles and theory. And there, the part with the counseling, prescription, preparations, during the curriculum, there's no minimal hours, listed, and also pharmacological assessment, emphasizing side effect and herb drug interactions. And there's also no hours limit listed here. And also the third one is the treatment contraindications and the complications, drug herb interactions, no hours limited. I'm just see as committee here how we can support from the public we heard loudly. I think even as a physician myself, my colleagues, every day I will get called or patients come in. Safety is absolutely the number one. So how we can help, and also how the stakeholders and the public can work with the board, on this, because this is all very important, topic. How shall we address? And I'm glad, and finally we start have a the time and sit down to discuss all this. But it's really come to the attention. This is like a wild west, the Chinese medicine in China. I know, we treat it as like a medicine in a way, as not just like a food. I tell patients, even ginger, everybody drink the ginger tea, for nausea, goes everywhere. So it's become common, especially for cancer patients. And I always say, if you already constipated, sorry if someone is listening, don't want to use the medical term too much, but I'm just saying the side effect, so all those is the public aware, it's like, then if you have a side effect, what do you address? More medication or more herbs, so I think that this is important. So how can we help? And also is for the graduate, for the practitioner, in the future, when they start practicing medicine, they can tell the patients, I went through detailed training on the herb drug interactions. And, it will really help the patients, and also help, my colleagues. The big one is we don't know, they don't know, or they just tell patients that don't do it. Or now they understand that they refer, or many of us, refer patients to the expert in this field, which is the Chinese medicine doctor. So I'm just want to throw out the table is how the committee we help, to ensure our students, really understand with their education hours. How shall we proceed to the next?
Like I meant, this is Member Kim. Like I mentioned, licenses, if they have some issues or problem with the consumers, and they get disciplined, no matter what the circumstances is. The standard is up to this medical healthcare standard, but the education, if education is not up to that standard, we're teaching them, and less, and then regulate them at full strength. So it's whether it's up to the board, whether we let the profession to handle this issue, or and just focus on regulating it, or we more like today. I like this discussion on this herb and other Qigong exercise and therapies. We need to have some more ideas and more opinions and integrate that into better curriculum or training in the future. I think that's the option we have.
Thank you, Member Kim. So, anyone? So maybe I think we work with the staff and on this, and also probably the stakeholders' education on how they want to set the hours, how much they want to spend on the herbal prescription and also counseling. I know a lot of the patients now, especially the telehealth medicine, and you can't do that for acupuncture. So there's a lot dietary herbs counseling, into this practice for the future. So maybe we can work with stakeholders. I think the board, the priority is on the safety and how public stakeholders would come out some kind of the consensus, how many hours they really want to spend on education on the herbal drug interactions and drug herb interactions. So that's another part for physician world. It's most of the time we don't know, we just tell patients don't do it. And that's not good because the patients won't listen. We already heard from the public that many of the patients, they just go ahead and do it without tell the practitioner. I think maybe we can do further discussions on the next step. I think this is a healthy opening discussion to start it, introduce to the board.
I have a quick question on some of this table from the occupational analysis. I looked at table 12 on the material. It says treatment modalities used. The herbal therapy is ranked as third place, which is like almost 70%. But next table, number 13, treatment modality used most often over the last 12 months is acupuncture is 81%, and herbal therapy is still ranked third, but 4.6%. I don't know that what that represents, and also figure 13. Treatment modalities used most often over the last 12 months is herbal therapy is 4.6%, whereas acupuncture is 81%. So some of them they don't use that much, or I think actual usage, the percentage of the modality is very low, I think. Maybe we can discuss this in the full board meeting later.
Thank you, Member Kim. Sure. I probably will ask Jay or David, could we open up to the public? I think we would like to hear from the stakeholder or the public to see. I know there's a lot of interest, and thanks for their participations. Do we
So
have
doc,
anyone?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Dr. Mateki, you want
Yes.
to open it up to the public before we move on to exercise therapy?
So what's the best way? Should we do both, or should we do one at a time? And what would you like?
If we want to focus on specific topics, it would make sense, I think, to take comments specifically about herbal medicine now and then exercise therapy later. But I would certainly defer to you in terms of how you'd like to proceed.
I agree with David, Amy, and then also I just wanted to mention to Board Member Kim, there's going to be a discussion of the occupation analysis and presenters from the Office of Professional Exam Services, and so we'll definitely, you'll be able to revisit that and get some clarification on those numbers tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurd. So I think I would like to stay with one topic at a time, and also would advise the speakers or the public to stay focused on the herb topic, because sometimes it's easy to get sidetracked. I think this is important issues. I would like to stay on one topic at a time.
Right. We have opened the Q&A option for public comment, and the comments are coming in. If you would like to make a comment, please type comment into the comments section and send it to all participants. We will call on you in the order that comments are received, and you will have 3 minutes to speak with a 30-second warning. First on the list, I see Ron. Hold on just a moment. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. Ron, I have sent you a request to unmute your microphone. Ron, I'm going to send you a second request to unmute your microphone. And it looks like you have unmuted. All right, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, Ron Zeidman, president of Five Branches University. Two comments I would like to make. The first is the training that is defined both by the Acupuncture Board and our accreditation, ACAM, 450 hours of didactic teaching, plus 1,000 hours, or in the case of California, 950 hours of clinical training. The didactic, for members of the public who might be here, the 450 hours is 10 courses of 45 hours each in average. And 3 of those courses cover the 360 single herbs that are used in Chinese medicine. And then another 3 courses cover the approximately 150 formulas that are used by Chinese medicine, the main formulas. And then the other 4 courses are related to drug interactions, and also the use of herbal formulas in internal medicine and specific disease categories. So the education is strong. After those 10 courses, the students observe and use the herbal formulas during 1,000 hours of clinical training. So normally with each patient, they will of course do acupuncture. That is the expectation of the patient. And if the patient wants herbs, they'll prescribe an herbal formula. If the patient doesn't want, normally they will prescribe the herbal formula on the intake form, even though the patient isn't going to use it, and that's done for educational purposes. It's a pity that our license is called licensed acupuncturist. When we speak to potential students, we say, you're going to become a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist, Chinese medicine herbalist, because a very large portion of the program is herbal studies, is herbal clinical practice.
30 seconds.
Thank you. And our graduates have both of those backgrounds. One last comment is the tutorial program, as those of us who've been here a long time, is not really, well, it has too few hours in herbal medicine and has very little oversight because the accreditors do not oversee tutorial programs. So there we are not really serving the public very well.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jim. Bear with us just a moment, and I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. Okay, we see you have unmuted your microphone.
All right. Thank you, moderator.
Go
I guess
ahead,
I'm a quick learner. I got it unmuted this time on the first try. So my only comment was going to be to the California State Acupuncture Board in general, nobody specific. I'm extremely excited to hear the information that the board itself, the research that you have done and presented it to the public. So in my first comment earlier this morning, I was correct in assuming that the California State Acupuncture Board is probably one of the best boards out of the 50 states in the US. So you were not disappointing this morning. You actually have presented a clear-cut case of why these issues are important. You've done a lot of research. You can back up everything. So as a consumer, as an end user of acupuncture, and then more importantly, herbal formulas, I'm extremely happy and even more confident now that the people that I go to, my practitioners are up to par. And actually, one of my practitioners is a graduate of 5 branches. So I was glad to hear Professor Ron just speak before me. So that's it on my end. I'm just so extremely happy that you guys are listening to not only the professional people, but also those of us who actually use this and are confident with what you guys are doing. So thank you very much for allowing me to participate.
Okay. Moving on, next on the list we have Philip. Bear with us just a moment, Philip, and we are going to send you a request to unmute your microphone. All right, we've sent you a request to unmute your microphone. Okay, and Philip, we're going to send you a second request to unmute your microphone. And we're going to give you a third opportunity to unmute your microphone, Philip. Madam Chair, it appears that Philip is unable to unmute his microphone. Shall we give him the opportunity to type a comment, or shall we move on?
Yeah, he can type the comment, but we would like use the time continue open to the other public comments, if there's any. And so I just
At the moment,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Yes.
At the moment, there are no additional requests for comment. He is the last one.
Okay, so maybe we can come back for it.
We have Li Zhang. We're going to take Li Zhang's comment while we wait for Philip.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, I have sent you a request to unmute your microphone. And I see you are unmuted. Can we get a mic check?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Thank you for having this opportunity to share our opinion. And I think right now it's very important for licensed acupuncture in California. We should go one step up for doctor degree. Right after the COVID, so many people they want to have a traditional medicine treatment, especially for Chinese herbs. So a lot of patients come to my clinic. They want to have herbs, but right now it's we cannot control the quality. So I think maybe we need to get more education in school, and also make the people out there feel safe to take herb tea or herb medicine, what they call they always call herb tea, but right now because they have so many reports talking about the herb tea maybe damage the kidney, liver, so they want to try, but they are very worried. So I think if we had more education in school, if we got a doctorate degree to show them we are all doctors, so I think maybe we'll make them feel safe or more comfortable to have a herb treatment, acupuncture treatment. Thank you.
All right. And we're going to circle back to Philip. Philip, I'm going to send you, we see a written comment. I'm going to read it aloud, and it says, as I know, the practitioners use prescription not enough 6% because they are lack the practice clinically also. The insurance doesn't cover herbs. So some practitioners, bear with me just a moment. So some practitioners just use acupuncture. I also support Francis Kim's suggestion of Qigong application clinically. Philip. And Philip, it appears that your microphone is unmuted.
Yeah, I just
If you
got
wanna-
it. Yeah,
We
thank
can
you.
hear you.
Yeah, my point is, I from Francisco's point mentioned about the not insufficient use of a herbal prescription. I think Ron just mentioned the education is the hours are good enough, but some students, in my school, as I know, that some students they don't spend too much time. I just force them to. You have to make a prescription for their patients. They do it. They finish homework. I privately talk to them. They said, acupuncture is not very. No, herbal medicine is not covered by insurance, so they just pay more attention to acupuncture. And another is when they learn the knowledge for herbal medicine and also the prescription, but their techniques is not enough, so it's not effective. When it's not effective, so they lose the confidence to use it clinically. That's as I know from even our AACM association, for many practitioners, they've been practicing for many years. They still have the similar problem. So I think we need to find a way to strengthen the emphasize or any way to get insurance coverage or something. And Qigong, especially medical Qigong in clinical practice, is very effective. And also teach the patients to do the practice. That's a very good complementary in treating chronic diseases. So Qigong is very important to apply it in clinical practice. So it may either increase the education hours or send the guidelines how to use the Qigong, medical Qigong clinically, or guidelines for the courses, like curriculums. Yeah, thank you.
All right. And that appears to be the last comment. Would you like me to close the feature?
Yes, please. Thank you. So Member Kim, now we, heard some from the public comment on the education, and also a question about the tutorial, the hours, training on the herbs. But as a matter of fact, I have patients right now is one of the COVID survivors, and currently he is taking herbs with someone, and I know it's not a licensed acupuncturist. So this is where the part, I am not sure, how to address it. I ask the patients to bring me the prescription. At least I see what is on the herbs. So apparently, have not been provided. So what my advice is, I cannot be just say, yes, keep doing it, keep taking it. So this, I think, is the part I'm glad, appreciate, the schools, educators. I really support the board and involve the discussions here. But public still there's so many unknown because of the concept. Herbs is a food, so you can go to anyone, and that's where the problem's happening. So physician and my colleagues now they deferred everything, to the Chinese medicine doctors and to me, my practice. But the part, I'm just to see how, from the consumer part, they go to the stores and they can just get the herbs right there, and how the next step, because if something happened, what is get blamed on is the herbs, is that the medication get blamed on, or that the drugs, now is the herbs, the plant get blamed on. So I don't know, I think this is a healthy discussion here, but still I want to coming back to the hours. So I understand we in the school curriculum right now there is the hours for the herbs, but do we need to have a specific hours and educate, let the public know? Yes, this is the one we studied for the herbal drug interactions. This is the many hours. And I see, because I'm working with the students and also providers, I do see the different levels, the graduate or the students. So that's where I'm just to see how for the public to differentiate. I can just buy the herbs, get the herbs from someone, no certificate, or just treat it as a food. Or do I get from someone I know they went through the proper training and certified, so I know I can understand at a certain level they knows what they are doing, or they know what they are doing.
Yeah, yeah. Since I've been involved with this board, I didn't know what the board was for, but I clearly understand that since I've been serving as a board member, this is a regulatory board of the agency. So some people say like, oh, board is it's like a policing on us, but actually this is in reverse. Since I figured out the role of the board and the regulatory body is not just to regulate the licenses and the professions, but also like this, through this board meeting, acupuncturists, licensed acupuncturists, these licenses are they're recognized. So I think it's up to the profession to come up with a very distinctive and curriculum or any good training program, especially not just understanding the traditional practice, but also how to communicate with the current medical, communities, terminology and other standard. So we can come up with some kind of a update on our training, not just acupuncture, but also herbal medicine and Qigong, medical Qigong. I think it'll be the good thing for the public and also good thing for the regulating agency to put it on our regulatory. So I suggest we can take it to the full board meeting and have a way to talk to the profession and come up with some of the suggestions and putting those ideas into the curriculum. That's my suggestion.
Well said, Member Kim. Thank you. So it's a perfect timing. Now we want to move to the next one. So maybe David or Mr. Hurt, you guys go ahead and start to talk about the Tai Chi and the Qigong exercise therapy.
Let's pass it to David Brugman, who prepared the memo on this. So take it away, David.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everybody. So we have had a little bit of discussion about Qigong specifically, but I'm going to briefly summarize both the board and the ACAOM standards with respect to education in exercise therapy, which would include Qigong, Tai Chi Chuan, and I would assume other methods. I can't claim any significant expertise in the particular techniques in this area. Starting with our California Acupuncture Board regulations for curriculum requirements for the tutorials, they would require an introductory course in Qigong for breathing techniques, another introductory course in Tai Chi Chuan, and both of these courses would be part of the clinical and didactic training component, and that's a minimum of 1,548 hours of instruction. For the standard curriculum for the educational training programs, exercise therapy, including breathing, Qigong, and Tai Chi Chuan, is included, but there's no specific hours given. These are all set in the portion of the curriculum called Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine Principles, Theories, and Treatment. And that larger component requires 1,255 hours of instruction. Now, unlike with the herbs, exercise therapy is brought up in continuing education. And as I believe one of our public commenters noted, that there is a focus not simply on exercise therapy for patients, but also as a way for the practitioners to focus on their own health and well-being. So you can get continuing education credit for exercise therapy for your patients and for yourself, as I understand it. And that's again, there's not a lot of standards for exercise therapy compared to herbs, both for California and for ACAOM. I just finished the brief section on the California the acupuncture board requirements. For the ACAOM standards, they reference exercise therapy in their standards 7, and it's one of their competencies. It states that AOM treatment may include, but is not limited to, the use of AOM clinical procedures to stimulate specific locations via mechanical, electrical, magnetic, thermal, laser, photon, or wave generating means. And this includes a whole variety of techniques, the manual therapy, body work, therapeutic exercise. Those would be the things specific to exercise therapy as I read the standards, even though the specific standard uncovers a large number of different techniques. And that's the really quick overview of both ACOM standards and California Acupuncture Board standards with respect to exercise therapy. So we can then go to a more general discussion at this point. Dr. Mateki.
Thank you very much. As I said earlier, I'm just very thankful for the staff has to take the effort, especially, you have really done the detailed work here. Really, really appreciate it, and thank you. Early, I know we kind of like already mentioned about the Qigong, Tai Chi, the exercise therapies. I am a bigger support because our patients for the last 12 years, actually, we had a Qigong program for the hospital for the cancer patients, has been the most well attended and welcome, program for the public and for the patients. So I'm, very supportive and very glad, to see this is a continue being included in the education, and also how the board we can help, to expand on this, work with the stakeholders. Early mentioned a lot. Chinese medicine modality, it's very cheap, easier, and also, many of the patients, they are tired of to be on the passenger side. They want to be on the driver's side, and for their own health. So I think with the exercise therapy will be one of the, treatment for the patients to be participate safely. This is, I think, would be a very good way to help and educate and teaching patients, because chronic pain is going to be a massive cost for the healthcare system. And remember, years ago, the study already showed over $631 billion, yearly cost just for the chronic pain management. So I think, there is a lot of opportunity, for the stakeholder and for the board, to see how we can work together on this and also bring to the public attentions. So Member Kim, I know you have mentioned about this, and please feel free to comment on it, and then we will open up to the public.
Thank you. I been practicing acupuncture over 20 years, and my mother has been a Qigong practitioner herself long enough to become a healing, like a treatment healer. But I was not, just because I didn't practice, continuously and regularly. So this area is like not just acupuncture, but all other herb and other qigong. This area is very safe. You know, it's whether you just passively get the treatment or you actively practicing the qigong. It's very safe, right? So I think it's up to the profession to come up with some kind of a certificate program so that public can recognize them as a actual, qualified practitioner. Because obviously I'm not, because I know how much it takes. So let's take it to the public, and then let's take it to the full board meeting, and we can discuss and then have them come up with some solution. That's my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Well said. So shall we open up to the public? See if there's any comments.
This is the moderator. I have opened the Q&A option for public comment. If you would like to make a comment, please type comment into the Q&A box and send it to all participants. You will be given 3 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. And let's just give everyone a moment to express their desire to make a comment, if there is one. And we have a request for comment. Looks like our first comment is going to be from Ron. Give me a moment, and I will send you a request to unmute your microphone. Okay, Ron, you have been sent a request to unmute your microphone, and it looks like you are ready. Can we do a mic check?
Yes, Ron Zeidman.
We hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, President, Five Branches University. So our name, Five Branches University, are the five branches of Chinese medicine: acupuncture, herbal medicine, dietetics, Qigong. And most importantly, it's really the Qigong Tai Chi. It's a very important part of keeping health, and as practitioners, knowing it so that we can help patients learn these exercises for many reasons, not only pain, but also for balance as you get older. And in medical Qigong, we can use our Qi, as we do also in acupuncture, to transmit the Qi of the universe to help the patient. So this is an important part of the curriculum that the Acupuncture Board has. And if you specify the number of hours more so, that would be helpful. We at our university teach 4 hours, which would mean 1 hour each trimester, but only for the first 4 trimesters. You know, if it was larger amount, and we do offer larger amounts, that would also be helpful. So this is an important part of traditional Chinese medicine, and it's good that we're paying attention to it, and being specific on it can only help both the students who are learning to become practitioners, as well as serving the public. Thank you.
And that appears to be our only request for comment. Would you like to close public comment at this moment?
Yes, please. Thank you.
We are closed.
Thank you. So let's, I just want maybe ask Mr. Hurd and Brugman. The part I know over here, we did bring this up, but also is, the request about the hours specifications, for the training. If this is something we can look into it, work with the stakeholder, and also I understand, for continuing education can all played a part of this. So I'm just want, add this one in before we move to the next agenda items.
Amy J. Hurd here to comment on that. You know, we generally specify 450 hours of training, but you know, definitely it could be portioned out with something more specific. It's done with other items, so it would just be a matter of, you know, assessing that and coming to some final place with it. You know, and maybe some general guidance from the board and stakeholders. You know, how to proceed would be also a positive part of that as well. So, and that lives in our curriculum requirements, the 1399-434 California Code of Regulations. Thanks.
Excellent, excellent. So we definitely will bring this to the full board also, you know, for the guidance. And Member Kim, do you have anything to add it, or shall we move to the next agenda item?
Don't have anything to add. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Thank
this
you.
is Fred Chen Yu, DC Legal Counsel.
Yes.
Just
Fred.
before I proceed, again, just want to clarify the record. So, what exactly precisely is the committee's recommendation to the board regarding these two items?
So
I mean,
I
just to clarify for the minutes. That's all.
Right. No, it's I think so Member Kim, you can chime in on this. I think this is a very good question brought it up. So for the committee, we can see the interest from the public and the stakeholders, and we do know listed here there is a, you know, maybe need a certain specific hours. So I would say on the herbs and also on the Qigong or exercise therapy, maybe we can have a detailed hours to listed in the course of the curriculums. I would summarize as this way. I think we can bring to the board for the further discussion at this point. I see the hours probably efficient for the herbs, but it looks like it's a loose because there is no specifically identified, you know, the detail. Certain items is important. I would say we need more specification how many hours are trained, and that's include the exercise therapies.
So is the recommendation for the board to look into this, or is it the committee's not necessarily a recommendation, but that like, hey, this necessitates further study, and you know, we'll look into this before we report the full thing to the board.
I think
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I think as a board, there's a necessity to look into the educational standard and training curriculum review is needed and need more comment from public. So we're going to go into the full board meeting and get more opinions and suggestions, and you know, take that into our consideration in curriculum review.
Okay, so basically there is no formal recommendation this committee is making as of today, correct? There's no formal like position this committee is taking, correct?
Madam Chair,
Not
may
at
I?
this point.
May I make
Sorry.
a
Yes.
comment? It sounds like because the board has done its due diligence to provide the current state of affairs of the education requirements as presented by Mr. Brueggemann, it sounds like the next steps here is to discuss this at the full board meeting happening tomorrow. And a possibility that the committee can bring to the full board meeting is a request that a stakeholder meeting be held, because at this point, what we as staff need are input from our stakeholders, specifically students and practitioners, as well as the administrators of our educational programs. We have shown the AHM requirements as well as ours. We aren't the experts, as Member Kim noted, to set these lines without including our stakeholders. So My recommendation would be that either yourself or Member Kim recommend that a stakeholder meeting be held sometime in the future to allow our stakeholders to bring their ideas here for the board to review with the stakeholders present.
Yes.
I agree on that. Yeah, So let's make it a formal suggestion, and then proceed.
In which case, sorry, I guess I'm being a stickler here for details. In which case, would it be possible to make a formal motion just to and then take a vote on this just for the records, for the minutes?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So go ahead, Member Kim.
Yeah. I make a motion to hold a stakeholders meeting for the curriculum review on herb and Qigong exercise curriculum in the full board meeting.
Member Kim, if I may clarify, is the motion to have a stakeholder meeting or to recommend to the full board?
To recommend the board. Yeah.
Are there
Did
any
we do
seconds?
the roll call?
Madam Chair, are you in favor of that?
I will
Yes,
second that.
I did.
All right, both members of the committee have approved this because this not quorum. This will be accepted, and the committee can present tomorrow this recommendation to the full board.
Oh, can we just open up to public comments before making that final?
Sure.
Thank you.
Apologies.
This is the moderator. We are now taking public comment on the motion. If you would like to make a comment, please type comment into the Q&A box and send it to all participants. You will be given 3 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. And our first comment has come from Jim. Bear with us just a moment, and we will send you a request to unmute your microphone. Okay, we have sent a request to unmute your microphone. We see that you are unmuted. Can we do a mic check?
Yes, this is Jim Carrico.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, so once again, thank you for the opportunity. Unfortunately, I will not be able to participate tomorrow on Friday at the full board meeting, but if possible, I would like either my thoughts or my communication to be heard at the full board meeting, if that's possible. If not, I totally understand, but unfortunately, I won't be able to be there for that meeting. But I know these items are extremely important, and I'm happy that the board is dealing with these issues, and hopefully we'll have a good recommendation. So that's my comment. Thank you, David.
Okay. And let's see, we have an additional request for comment from Ron. Bear with us just a moment, Ron, and we will send you a request to unmute your microphone. And that request has been sent. We see that you are up.
Ron Zeidman from Five Branches University. Thank you for inviting the stakeholders to a meeting. We really appreciate that opportunity. Thank you.
All right. And is that your entire comment? Yep. Okay. Seeing no additional requests for comments, would you like to close public comments at this moment?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sorry, this is Fred Chen, UDCA legal counsel. Could we take like a roll call vote just for the minutes? Thank you.
Hi, this is David. As I call your name, please let me know if you agree with the motion to recommend that the board call a stakeholder meeting to discuss curriculum requirements for herbs and for exercise therapy. Dr. Mateki,
Yes.
Member Kim, Member Kim, we show you as muted. Could you please unmute and let us know?
Yes.
Thank
hear
you,
me now?
sir. We hear you just fine. I show both members in favor of making the recommendation, none opposed. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, legal Mr. Chen Yu, for your guidance. So shall we move to the agenda item number 5 for the future agenda items? So I would like to open up. I know this morning we discussed a lot with the herbs and now the exercise therapy, but I'm just sometimes get a little bit confused about the degrees, so many names, and is this something? Is this some items like how maybe the stakeholders can work with the board? Because it's not me. This is just from I can see working the hospital, the patients, my colleagues, so all get confused. So, and this is where I would like to add it in for one, but you know, also I think maybe we can continue work on the curriculum, how to look into with the Western medicine, how the requirements, the pharmacological curriculum and also the drug herbs interaction part. So I'm just through that in is I would like to continue. One is the herbs education curriculum, how with the Western medicine, the collaboration or the bridge, how the board can work with the stakeholders on this. Number 2 is the degrees, the levels, the names, of this profession. So I want put that one in. Member Kim.
Yes. I agree with you on those insight.
Thank you.
This is the moderator.
Yes.
If I may interrupt, there is a member of the public who has raised their hand. I realize this is not the time for public comment. Shall I lower the hand?
So is the public comment for the future agenda items or was for the previous? So maybe if
Unclear.
for this item, they can, when we're ready, they can start a comment on it. I think Member Kim already said.
Very good.
So if the public member want to comment on this item, sure.
Chairman Techie, would you just like to go ahead and open for public comment in general and we can take that
Yes.
comment as part of it?
Yes, let's open up to the public. Thank you, Mr. Bergman.
Will do. We have opened for public comment, and we are going to address the raised hand first. And forgive me, I am going to have difficulty with your name. Ann York, I believe, is how we say it. Ann York Lee. I have sent you a request to unmute your microphone. Ann York Lee, I am going to send you a second request to unmute your microphone. And I'm going to send you a third request to unmute your microphone. If you are still having difficulty after that, perhaps you could type your comment into the Q&A box. In the meantime, We will move on to any other public comments. So public comments are now open. If you would like to make a comment, please type comment into the Q&A box and send it to all participants. You will be given 3 minutes to speak and a 30-second warning. And we have no additional requests for comment. We're going to circle back to Ann York Lee one more time. I have sent you a request to unmute your microphone. Okay, we do have another request for comment. We're going to address Ron. Bear with us just a moment, please. Ron, I have sent you a request to unmute your microphone.
Okay. Ron Zeidman from Five Branches University. If this is about future agenda items, I would put a review of the tutorial programs on this. If you look at the numbers, we used to have 3 to 5 students in tutorial programs. We now have a much larger number, I think it's 38, because schools are introducing tutorial programs, and this is new. So we need to review the tutorial programs. Again, our goal is to protect the public, and licensed acupuncturists who go through an accredited program need at least 2 years of undergraduate university studies before they go on to their medical studies. And the tutorial program, they are only high school, and they can enter the profession. And this is an important variance in the maturity and knowledge of our practitioners. So a review of the tutorial program is something I would recommend for a future agenda. Thank you.
All right, and next we are going to circle back to Ann York Lee. Bear with us just a moment. I have sent you another request to unmute your microphone. It does not appear you are using your phone, but if you are using your phone, the command, I believe, is *6. If you are using a mobile device, there is a ... which would probably give you the option to unmute your microphone. And we're going to take just one more moment to see if we can resolve this problem. I'm going to check and see if we have an appropriate slide to put up for you. Just a moment. All right, co-moderator, could we go to slide 32, please? Oh, we see your microphone is unmuted.
Okay. Okay. You can hear me now, right?
Yes, yes, please
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I have technical problem. Try to call get in
Nope.
since
No problem.
9:30 until now. I do see the whole agenda, including the last item. Now we are at the future comment. To summarize what I say, I will put in the future item. I think our discussion, either herb or Qigong, for our standard, we have to face a challenge in the definition. What is the entry level practice means? If I attend the class 1 hour, I have more knowledge than average people. Okay. Here I pass the exam, of course. I have more knowledge than entry level practice compared with average people. So, and the average level practice and the consumer safety is changing with the environment. Like we have a COVID issue today. You know, herb is very effective for the treatment in the first 2-week observation period or after COVID recovery, people have a lot of problems and the herb can help. But how do we know the near 1,000-hour individual herb education and the formula, and the practitioner past the entry level practice can safely apply to the practice and help the patient. So I think our legal explanation and our academic committee and the whole board member should review the clear definition of entry level practice. It is changing with the external environment. So this is a good discussion today for herb and Qigong. But if we don't make it clear
30 seconds.
what is entry level practice and consumer safety with the changing environment, we have no stepstone. That's my comment. Try to put this discussion in the future agenda. Thank you.
Okay. And that appears to be our last comment for future agenda items.
Thank you, David. So I think this is conclude this licensing committee meeting, and the meeting is adjourned at 11:25. We will see each other at the full board. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chairman Teki. Thank you, Member Kim. Members of the audience, we will be taking an hour break. The full board meeting will resume at 12:30 p.m. on this channel. Thank you.